My name is Astrid Butterworth, and this is my EPQ artifact. The artifact is a Corinthian Greek helmet from 500 BC, and the sculpture is made out of limestone. I chose limestone because it's a soft and malleable material, quite easy to come by, and quite cheap. The main things I wanted to capture of the sculpture was the shape of the Corinthian helmet, to make the cheeks flat so they look like armor, to create the brow line and the dome-like head, and to capture the shape of the eyes and make them appear hollow. For the cheeks, I at first rounded them, but then realized that this is not a human head and instead a piece of armor. So I then grabbed a sanding pad and flattened both the cheeks and the front forehead of the sculpture. And as you can see, it has this lovely flattened effect, quite like armor. To make the eyes hollow, I carved downwards at the bottom and upwards at the top to create these slopes. While I was doing this for the sides, I accidentally created a hole between the two eyes. This was not, however, a bad thing, as I was able to capitalize on this and make a larger hole to make it appear more hollow and as if the entire back had been carved out. I also needed to capture the angles of the eyes. I did this by carving upwards a little bit and downwards a little bit so that it wasn't completely round and had a teardrop shape. While I just did the same method for the cheeks to make them appear more hollow, and at the bottom half of the sculpture carved out the entire back. While doing this for the nose, the tip of the nose fell off while I was attempting to carve this. This was not a disastrous thing, however, as both pieces were still intact. All I needed to do was super glue it back on after dusting it. The next night, it was perfectly intact. For the brow line, I marked it out using a charcoal pen and then with a tungsten-tipped chisel, made indents all across the dotted line so I could know how I would carve it. I then shaved off everything at the bottom by 1 centimeter to create this brow line and this dome-like head. I did the same method of charcoal and tungsten tipped with the sides from all the way here to here and then all the way across the back. For the back of the sculpture, I did not use this charcoal method, and as you can see, it is quite uneven. This was when I was just first sculpting, and you can see my inexperience. To create this smooth effect on the dome and across the entire sculpture, I used finer and finer pads and finer grades of sanding pads. I used roughest to finest to create as fine as possible of a surface, and then used a chamois piece of leather, soaked it in water, and cleaned and rubbed down, removing all limestone dust and also smoothing it out even more.